Inflation, your savings' biggest enemy, and here's how to beat it. Meet Sharma ji. He loves his morning walks and never forgets to drink his favorite masala chai at the street corner. He's been drinking chai at the same chaiwala since 1980. No wonder he proudly regales stories of how the tea was sold at just ₹2 when he first started drinking tea at the shop. Of course, how over the years the price of chai has risen and the cup has shrunk, thanks to inflation. So, what is inflation? Inflation, in simple words, refers to the rise in the price of product and services over time. It affects every aspect of life: food, clothing, education, homes, travel, healthcare, gadgets, etc. For instance, if your monthly expense for groceries, maintenance bills and leisure is about ₹30,000 in 2020, it won't be enough to meet the expenses 5 years from now. So, if we assume a 7% rate of inflation, you will need about ₹42,000 in 2025, ₹59,000 in 2030 and ₹1,16,000 in 2040. But before you brush this aside with the simple logic that prices tend to rise over time, consider this. Is your income increasing at the same rate, if not faster? Yes? No? Sometimes? If your answer is a no or sometimes, then unlike Sharma ji, you won't be able to indulge in your favorites the same way. You will soon be faced with serious questions. What will I have to give up to prevent going into debt? How will rising costs change my lifestyle? And if these issues occur while you still have a job, can you even imagine the struggle after you retire, especially if you rely solely on what you save? Inflation can be your savings' biggest enemy, but it doesn't need to. Be like Sharma ji, who managed inflation by choosing investment solutions that potentially offered higher returns. He wasn't a financial wizard. He didn't do any investment mumbo-jumbo. All it took was a little planning and some discipline. He invested a small amount every month throughout his career in investment options that returned more than the rate of inflation. Some SIPs in mutual fund schemes, asset allocation moves, and voila! You, like Sharma ji, can enjoy your chai throughout your life. You may consult your investment advisor to make sure your investments grow faster than the rate of inflation. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Hello and welcome to the Pune semi-final of Businessline Boardroom Challenge 2023. I am Srimati Sridharan. Businessline Boardroom Challenge, a unique competition for B-Schoolers, has 3 levels: a preliminary round, a semi-final across 8 cities and a grand finale. The online tests in the prelims tested students' decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. In the semi-finals, the students got the chance to meet and compete with the best minds from top B schools across the country and present their strategies. And in finals, students will showcase their skills by solving a live corporate case. Now without further ado, let's jump right into it. I now request Mr. Vinay Kamath from Businessline to take over.
Welcome all to the BL Boardroom Challenge 2023. I am Vinay Kamath of Businessline. This unique case challenge for B-Schoolers is in its 7th year. In the first year of the challenge, in 2017, Liba Chennai was the winner, followed by ISP Hyderabad in 2018 and IIM Ranchi in 2019. SIBM Pune won the contest in 2020, while IIM Shillong won in 2021 and SPJMR in 2022. Till the 2019 edition, the semi-final rounds of the contest were held across 8 cities at B schools which hosted the event. The preliminary round has always been online, where students are administered a psychometric test to assess their decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. The grand finale, where B schools which won city-specific semi-finals competed for the grand prize, had in earlier years been held in Chennai. From the year 2020, keeping in mind the safety of the students and others involved in this contest during the pandemic, it has been conducted entirely online, including the semi-final rounds and the finals as well. This year too, we are conducting the event online, given its efficacy as a convenient medium where students don't need to spend time traveling to various destinations. The semi-finals case will test the participating teams on the knowledge of finance, marketing and strategy and decision-making skills and ability to work in teams. The BL Boardroom Challenge is a unique event which has become part of the calendar of contests for B schools. May the best team win the 2023 BL Boardroom Challenge. All the best.
To outline the case for the semi-finals, each of the teams had to take on a role of a consulting company that has a huge knowledge in the EV area. The task for the planning team is to make a 5-year business plan for a newly established company. This company, named Green Mobility India, is a subsidiary of a renewable energy giant. The participants have to facilitate its entry into the electronic vehicles market. They would need to present the dynamics and therefore qualitative and quantitative inputs if green energy can proceed in the EV space or not. The business plan if it feels the company should enter the field. Real impact of the EVs on the environment considering cradle to grave impact compared to ICE and hybrid. Understanding consumer preferences and secondary sources and projecting the market scenario for 5 years. Projected progress of charging infrastructure and its impact on penetration of EVs. Each team will get 15 minutes to present their case and will be followed by 5 minutes of questions and answers. The team will be marked for 50 points by each jury member. The team with the highest total wins. Here is the breakup. Understanding of case points 10. Case analysis 15. Solution 10. Presentation 10. Teamwork 5. Now it's over to the teams presenting today.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Anagha, and I have my team members Mugdha and Arnab with me today. So we have been given the case whether the company called Green Mobility India Private Limited should enter the EV and or the hybrid passenger car segment in India or not. So initially, we started by looking at the overall EV market segment. So as you can see, the overall EV market has seen a tremendous growth in terms of market valuation. By 2028, it is estimated to reach by 2028 it is estimated to reach around 37.7 billion US dollars. So diving deeper into the segment, as we can see, so the EV market has different types of vehicles. We have the electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and the buses. And the market is dominated by electric two-wheelers. And as per the National Economic Survey report, the CAGR by which the entire EV market is supposed to grow is around 49%. And if you can see, the EV passenger vehicles within the entire passenger vehicle segment has seen an exponential growth. As of 2022, it was 1.3% of the total passenger segment. In India, we have roughly around 6 players, and Tata Motors is one of the major players in the segment. Coming to the hybrid vehicles, so although we agree that hybrid vehicles do combine the good of the electric vehicles as well as the IC vehicles, but there are certain limitations to using these vehicles. So hybrid vehicles don't serve as the permanent solution. In fact, they are just the temporary solution. And if we want to look at a more sustainable solution in the coming future, we believe that we should be focusing towards entering into the EV market segment. We also tried to do a trend analysis on the sales of both these different types of vehicles, and we found that the hybrid vehicle segment has been more or less unstable in the market, and the EV market and the EV vehicle segment has seen a steady growth. So this has made the market even more attractive for us. Now, coming to the fact, like from our predecessors, countries who have started adopting the EV vehicles before us. So we try to look towards the Western trends, and Norway is one of the best examples that we can look at. So in Norway, the government has been pushing towards the use of EV vehicles since 1990. And as of today, the overall market share is around 80% that has been captured by the EV vehicles. Now, this is very interesting because Norway is the least likely country, and nobody had expected for EV vehicles to become so much popular in such a country where we have challenging weather conditions, like it has extremely cold weather and the rough terrain. So, but due to the consistent push by the government by giving subsidies, tax rebates to the population in Norway, the cost of owning an EV vehicle is significantly lesser than cost of owning an IC vehicle in Norway. Now, since Norway has set the tone for the entire world that adopting an EV vehicle can be a success, the entire globe has followed, including major developed and developing nations like China, the entire European Union. We have United States, Japan, and India as well. We have started in the path, but we are yet not there for what's needed for the globe to stay on track for a neutral net zero. Uh, the next slide will be taken by Mugdha.
So, sir, coming to the EV market, we first need to look at what are the concerns which are actually preventing the growth of EV market. So we have got a variety of concerns ranging from whether the charging infrastructure is sufficient or not, whether the high cost of ownership will be a hurdle or not, how to reduce the high cost of ownership, how to increase the range, increase the charging speed, whether it will be good for environment or not. So we have got some concerns. So over here, we have listed how we are trying to tackle the concerns. So starting from with the government policies, right from 2013 with the launch of National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, till 2021, when the FAME 2 was extended, government has given various initiatives so that the overall cost of ownership of EV vehicle can be reduced. So we have listed the various initiatives, right, starting from purchase initiative, discounted loans, registration-free exemptions, and lot. And even the government has also given lots of PLI schemes, approved budget for lots of PLI schemes to reduce the overall manufacturing cost for the manufacturers as well. And we have a high hope that in 2024, that in the budget, the FAME 3 will also be launched, which will further aid in the reduction of the manufacturing for cost for for manufacturers, as well as the cost of ownership for customers. Now, coming to the power requirement, it really does not make sense if we actually may get the power from the non-renewable resource to charge the electric vehicle, because then it will further increase our environmental degradation. In this sense, the renewable energy outlook in India is the renewable energy outlook in India is quite positive, because we are now the fourth largest renewable energy country in our fourth largest renewable energy sector in our world, and it has got a very good positive outlook regarding CAGR annual growth. Now, coming to the batteries, so there are a lot now. Level 3 DC chargers are available, which are actually increasing the speed by exponentially. Initially, used to take 5 to 6 hours. Now it takes a couple of minutes. Right. Then we are increasing the charging density, the energy density. We are increasing the efficiency and life cycle of there's lots of R&D is being done in this sector. So ultimately, what is the gist of this slide is that yes, there are challenges, but with the government policies, with the renewable energy, and with the R&D, we can slowly tackle those challenges. Now, Mukta will look at the next slide, where one of the major challenges yet to be taken, and he will take over that.
In this slide, we will look at the cradle to death environmental effects. So when we talk about the factors that constitute to the emissions that come from the EVs, they are mining, the utilization of coal-based power, socioeconomic factors, battery disposal, and manufacturing. And in the diagram below, you can see that the emissions from the EV are almost one-fifth of that of the gas-powered or petrol diesel powered vehicles. And also the tailpipe emissions or the direct emissions that come from EVs are completely eliminated. That makes the emissions from the EV 32 grams of CO2 per mile as compared to 411 grams from the ICE vehicles. So here also EV emerges as the winner. Looking at the EV charging infrastructure that is currently there in the country, India has mission of EV 30 at 30. That has an ambitious plan of increasing the market share of EV to 30% by 2030. For doing this, infra will prove as a very important factor. And currently, India is way behind the global average of one charging station
10 minutes over.
per 20 EVs. So from that point of view, EV has to be given major importance. We have also conducted a customer preference survey, and from that we have generated some insights about the range preference, technological preference, and the pricing preference of the customers. So we got to know that 76% of our customers want a EV vehicle within the range of 15 lakh, and also 74% prefer to balance the range and the performance and the cost of the vehicle. I'll just move to the next slide.
Yeah, sorry. So now coming to the major point about the market entry decision. So in order to make that decision, we try to do trend analysis of the EV passenger car sales in India. Until 2023, it has seen a major uptick, and it is projected to grow uh, by 20% till 20 of the overall car passenger share by 2030. So now, should we enter or not? So we try to assess this on the basis of two different criteria. First is the market attractiveness, and second is the capabilities that we can leverage. So because this is the 20% of overall car passenger market share, we have a huge market that we can tap into. Doing a little competitor analysis, we found out that we have only six major players, more or less. So this makes the competition somewhere around less to medium for any new entrant in the market. So this also makes the market very favorable. Also, there is a major push by the government to go electric in the country in COP 28. So again, pushed by the government. This all these factors make the market very attractive for any new entrant in the sector. Now, coming to the capabilities that we can leverage, since we are affiliated with a renewable energy giant, we are planning to leverage the brand name, and we are assuming that we will be getting a continuous capital investment, and also that we are at the pinnacle of technology and research. So on the basis of these two parameters, should we enter the market? Yes, we should definitely enter the market. Now the next question is, how do we do that? Now, on the basis of the market research that we have conducted, and also on the primary research that we did, as Mukta just said, we tried to build a customer persona of our target customer. So our ideal customer is between the age of 25 to 40 years, lives in a tier 1 city, comes from a mid-section environment, and at the same time is environmentally conscious. So when we did a market analysis, we found out that Tata Tiago is the most popular brand that has captured 40% of the electric car passenger market. So what makes Tiago like very different, and how are we planning to differentiate from this? So Tiago has been termed as the common man's vehicle. So we are planning to give a neck to neck competition to Tiago by giving a product which has a competitive pricing between 8 to 12 lakhs. It will be of a compact hatchback model. So no other vehicle in this segment, in this pricing segment, offers a range above 250 kilometers on a single charge. So we are planning to give them an extended range of 280 to 330 kilometers. And we are also planning to give a competitive period on extended car warranties and battery warranties. So on the basis of this, we have built a 5-year business plan where our goal is to capture 20% of this market by the end of the 5th year. Now, how exactly are we planning to do this? So this will be elaborated further by me.
So now that we have decided to enter the market, the very first and the biggest barrier is the charging infrastructure. People are reluctant to switch to EVs because there is inadequate infrastructure. So we are planning to remove this barrier by aggressively investing and establishing charging station across the tier 1 cities. So the charging infra market is also growing at a CAGR of around 46%. And what impact this will create is, this will create our brand identity in the segment. This will boost our EV sales, and this will address it is itself a standalone revenue source. So it won't act as a burden for us if we invest heavily in it. The stakeholders involved would be multiple government organizations, electricity boards, and private companies like us. And we can be very, very innovative with the type of charging stations that we establish. For example, apart from the public charging stations, we can also install private charging stations on private properties like malls, parking lots, offices, and we can also offer customers a separate individual charger at their homes if they opt for it. And we can also explore the battery swapping technology coming in the future. We can leverage, since we are in the renewables, we can leverage the captive charging infra, from where we can charge the batteries from renewable energy and then charge EVs from those batteries. The numbers related to this, Arnav will take you through this.
Yes, sir. So actually, as we have projected that there is a huge shortage of infra. So what I have done is that we have actually uh, took what is the required number of chargers that is to be installed, and if we actually take 22% of that market, we will need to install around 9,000 chargers by the end of in the next 5 years. So this is just the guesstimates which I have done, and what are the data which I have used for that guesstimate to predict what will be the revenue from this from the charging station. So there is a trend that it will go. There is a trend that it will grow exponentially, starting from around 900 to 300 crores in the first year to around 8,000 crores in the final year. So we have done that guesstimate based on the utilization ratio in the peak and non-peak hours. I have also attached a business plan over here, but due to paucity of time, I'll not show it right now. But if the judges want to see it, we can actually show that as well. Over. So that's also, so there is this. It's adding the extra revenue, and it is also, and we have getting a good revenue from this charging infrastructure. Now we'll move on to the next slide.
So, okay, the cost of a battery in an EV vehicle is one of the major costs that contributes to the overall cost of the electric vehicle. So, as you can see, in 2016, it accounted to almost 50% of the total cost, and due to the trend innovations in battery technology, it is estimated to come down to a total of 19% of the total battery cost. So, I mean, and in order to make the business more profitable, and also to reduce the manufacturing cost of the vehicle, and also to increase the affordability for the consumer, apart from trying to reduce the cost of the battery, we can look at other options like improvement in indirect cost, improving the process efficiency, simplification in design, etc. So now these are the sources from where we can improve the profitability. So this is not the only plan that we have in place. Apart from this, we are also trying to explore the options where we can where we can generate new revenue streams by upcycling the batteries that have already been used and have lost some part of their efficiency. So we are planning to target different areas where we will want to push these batteries. So we are planning to use these batteries in our renewable energy plant and the vehicle plant as well, where these batteries will be used as stationary energy storage systems. We're also planning to push these batteries to residential areas, where they will again facilitate as to store energy that has been generated from renewable sources like solar, wind, and also for net metering purposes. We're also planning to use these in our charging stations to charge two-wheelers for excess revenue generation, and also to reduce the time that is taken to charge a four-wheeler. We're also planning to push these batteries to various hospitals and data centers where they can act as energy backups, and also to power public infrastructure facilities at night.
In this slide, we have shown the entire value chain and what we will be doing differently in every segment of the value chain. Due to paucity of time, I'll just take you through the important highlights of this. In procurement, we are planning a backward integration going forward. In manufacturing, we can reduce the cost of manufacturing significantly by applying Six Sigma and Lean tools. We can leverage the TOD tariff system, where we get benefits and rebates for operating the manufacturing plant in certain hours of the day. We can use renewable power to support certain percentage of our operations, plant operations. In sales and distribution, we can use D2C method like Tesla. We can leverage vast platforms, that is vehicle as a service platform, which is growing very rapidly nowadays, and it is a western trend as well. We can create awareness marketing, which will not only create it will create a foundation for us to not only sell our product but also allied services. And in after sales services, we can provide a range of services where we can integrate our product with IoT. We can provide customer support. We can provide battery health monitoring. Then subscription plan model can be implemented, and there are various such plans. If we can elaborate on them later if you want.
So, sir, coming to financial and projections. So, ultimately, everything boils down to this. This is the biggest proof that, yes, the business is viable and sustainable. So, we have calculated the overall profitability. We have calculated the CAGR rate of revenues. We have calculated what should be the payback period. So, and it's all very positive. It's got a very positive outlook. So over here, we have actually assumed that our initial investment will be around 2,000 crore. And this is in line with the investment that Ola has done currently for four-wheeler segment. So we have taken the data from that. And after that, we have projected what will be the revenue from initially as a charging infra, what will be the revenue and expenses from the plant setup. And we are seeing that even in the first 2 years, we may not be profitable, but by the third year, we will definitely be profitable. And our initial investment will have a payback of our initial investment within 5 years. And the revenue will also be growing very exponentially right now, starting from 304 crore in the first year. It has the potential to grow up to 18,000 6 times within the first 5 years. So ultimately, yes, we have got the financials are looking bright. It has got a very positive outlook. And with whatever initiatives we'll take in future regarding revenues from the battery recycling and implementing Lean Six Sigma and all, we'll definitely keep on reducing our overall expenses and also improving our revenue. And in that way, the business will grow much more. So, sir, regarding financial projection, is all looking very positive over here. So that's why this is the final proof that yes, this project is going to be sustainable and is going to be financially also very much viable. So with this, sir, we will like to end our presentation, and thanks a lot for your patience to hear our presentation. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah, Vishu, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Would anybody else like to go ahead earlier, or I can?
Vishu, you go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, very good. I think you've done a lot of analysis. You have looked at the scenarios. You've looked at data from secondary sources. You've also done something on the primary to figure out preference. So I would say an amazing amount of work has gone into your presentation, and that's a very, very positive. And also, I would say you have looked at the various parameters which are, which would affect the market entry or success. So you've looked at all those factors. So I'm not going to get into whether the numbers are correct or not. That was not the purpose of this thing. But overall, if you look at it, yes, you're talking about 2,000 crore investment. Yeah, fine. That may be, slightly less, and Ola had issues because of that. So, but it's okay. I mean, that doesn't make you don't have the right, information in that. But only one thing I have, which I would like to point out, and I would like you to, consider that as to why this happened. See, I thought you all wrote off hybrid too quickly. in your whole discussion. Right in the beginning, you said hybrid is got its problems, so we will not go with hybrid. So all your comparison that you've done is between EVs and ICEs, and you've left hybrid out. We've done at least while writing the case, done a lot of studies. If you take hybrids and if you take EVs, in many areas, hybrid performs better than EVs. In terms of lifetime cost of ownership, hybrids do better than EVs. In terms of even emission, hybrids is slightly more than EVs. It is not like 5 times what IC is. Hybrids is slightly more than EVs. Then you look at major constraint which it releases with a hybrid is that charging infrastructure is not required. All these being there, okay. I mean, whether you finally take a decision, I want to go only with EVs, not with a combination of hybrid and EVs, or why, that is a last decision, but would have expected that comparison to come in so that, we could have that data. A. B, look at some of the good examples of, large companies like Toyota, Honda and all. They are not going for pure this alone, EVs alone. They are marketing both. They are coming up with new hybrids and more smarter and smarter hybrids, and also looking at EVs. In fact, they are slower on EVs than on hybrids. What's important, and the whole trend that you're seeing on EVs, when you combine the EV as one category, then it's okay, because bikes, nobody takes it for a 500-kilometer, run and all that. So it's more in city, and it's very convenient, and you can also charge it much faster, everything. But this case was all about the passenger vehicle. So, I mean, that's one thing. The third thing is when you look at infrastructure cost and other things, in companies which are mostly, I don't know whether you got this information from secondary sources, that most car manufacturers do not manufacture anything. They assemble. All car manufacturers, whether it is Toyota, Honda, Maruti or something, they just assemble. They are these vendors who make everything for you, and that's how it works. And therefore, all these people can quickly modify their infrastructure and get into EV. Whereas for our company, it would be a new investment completely, where you have to put up the entire system scratch. So these are something. At the end of it, I wouldn't say going with the plan is a wrong decision. It is a decision which is okay. They can go with it. One aspect which you have not considered, which you should have brought in then looked at, is that there is a data point in the case which says that against the existing players, your SOV needs to be 3 times higher. So if you want to gain a 20% market share, you have to have a 60% SOV in the market for you to, because you are an unknown player, whereas maybe the other guys are known players in the automobile market. So that would make your these expenses very high. There is all these players put together are spending somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 crores in a year, and 66% of that is going to be 2,000 plus crores, 2,000, 3,000 crores per year you'll have to spend to get that kind of a. So there's some numbers comparison, and this would have been slightly better, but honestly, the amount of work that you'll have done and put together, this is a brilliant job. I really feel you have done a great job. If you had kept the hybrid connection also in and done the analysis around that and then taken this decision, it would have been possibly a perfect solution. It's a long one, but that's fine. Can you guys stop sharing? Then we can see each other. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So, what?
Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, just a quick thing that we actually discarded hybrid very initially because we are actually trying to think for a long-term solution. We wanted to reduce our dependency on fossil fuel completely. So that's one thinking, that if we think long-term and sustainable, that perhaps EV will be more better. So that's why initially we completely discarded hybrid. But you are very right, sir, that we should have actually done a little bit more analysis on hybrid. But it was our thinking for that we'll go for long term, that EV is only better in very long term. So that's why we have gone there. But yes, we should have done hybrid analysis also, sir.
Okay,
Thank you
no
very
worries,
much.
no worries. SK
You
Lokesh.
know, sorry.
Yeah, hi. I enjoyed your presentation and analysis was really good. I thought you really went into the subject and went into various aspects and really went right down and came to some solution. I thought it's very well analyzed overall, everything. Only thing like Vishy said, you should have actually weighed what the consumer would want, the cost of a EV versus a hybrid and the running cost also, which is better, this versus that. Would people really go and pay a little bit more for a EV at this point? The first number, the data point it took was the growth in EV sales, right, from 5.6 billion to 37 billion. So that was taken from where, which source? By 2028, I think.
Ma'am, so that was actually taken from Statista.
From Statista. So, these numbers, we can't really go by them because given the environment as of now for EVs and the charging station and all, so the government tends to give some really out there, really, really big numbers. So we really can't make them as a basis for your entire analysis. That's one thing I was saying. But having said that, the way you went about saying you'll set up charging station, that is half of your revenue, right? Half of revenue is coming from charging station, half from the EV. That was brilliant, I thought, because that's in the country for.
Okay.
Okay, your thing is stuck.
Yeah, I know.
Charging station segment itself.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you lose me?
Yeah, you were stuck for a minute. Now we can hear you. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah. So I wanted to know the charging station segment. What is the kind of margins that you people were looking at? What is it you're penciling in? And there was a big jump in profitability between year 4 and year 5. What brought about that kind of a jump?
Yes, ma'am, I'm taking over here. So, ma'am, the margin which we are taking is that we are charging 17 rupees per kilowatt, and our tariff will be 6 rupees per kilowatt. So that's our margin. We are having a margin of about rupees 11, and the sudden jump is because that the utilization will be much higher. So what we have actually done is that we need to predict the number of cars which will be coming to our charging stations. And we have divided 24 hours into 8 hours of peak time and 16 hours of non-peak time. So we are actually resuming that 2028, since the number of EV vehicles are projected to grow very high, and our utilization rate will also increase slightly. So that's why, ma'am, the whole project, the curve shifted upwards. If you want to see my Excel, ma'am, I can show the Excel as well, where we have actually calculated it. Shall I project the Excel, ma'am?
Yeah, very quickly, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, ma'am, this is the Excel which I have done for that. So you can see that I have done a peak hour utilization rate, that is 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, and then finally it will be 80%. And in non-peak hour, it's 1, 5, 10, 20, and 40. And our capacity is 4, because we can only charge 30 per minute. We have got 2 charges, so maximum is 4 capacity. So by this way, we can see that there is a very dramatic increase in the number of cars which will be visiting per day. And we have taken the average battery capacity as 30, as it was mentioned in the case, and revenue as 17. We're not from that, we are getting a daily revenue and a yearly revenue.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to add here that the revenue that comes from the charging station does not, it's just not limited to our company vehicles. Other
Yeah.
vehicles from other brands will also be able to come to our charging station and utilize this facility. So that makes the number exponentially grow further.
Okay. Okay. Good. I also, and how do you expect the cost of a battery to come down? That was also a little intriguing to me, and that too quite sharply.
Ma'am, so we actually went through several reports by McKinsey, Bain, and of course, we also went through Statista. So, according to their analysis, the battery technology, the way in which it is evolving. So, the cost to actually make one battery or a battery pack is expected to go down over a period of time. So, which is why over here also we have tried to incorporate that cost.
Okay. Okay, very interesting using renewable energy for your charging stations and all. A lot of interesting ideas. My only point is that the assumptions that you made about this jump in EV vehicle sales and all the basic assumptions, that's a bit questionable. That's all. Otherwise, it's a very good presentation.
Ma'am, just to answer that, I mean, like about the sales figure, especially when it comes to India, right? About the EV market. So so the government has taken a target of making the EV vehicle segment as 30% of the total passenger car segment, right? But then we actually went through a Bain report where they have claimed that, after doing their analysis, they were saying that it is quite difficult to make that 30% jump, but realistically, it might be 20% of the total, passenger car segment. So we took that into consideration, and then we projected that, okay, this much market might be there, and then we plan to capture 20% of that 20% market.
Okay, very ambitious, but
Yes.
yeah, well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I have no questions because it's an excellent presentation. I think the thought process of what Vinay had suggested and what Lokeshwar is asked, I'm sure that you can think over, work on it. I've just had one question. You have spoken a lot about renewable energy, which is interesting. What is the kind of source that you're talking of, renewable energy? And I do understand that you're talking about government, talking about renewable energy. What is the source that you had in mind? Solar and other things from?
If we look at the overall power capacity, power generation capacity in India, it is around 403 gigawatt right now. And out of that, 41% constitutes to renewable energy. Out of that, solar has the highest share, and second is hydro. So we can look at both of these, but I think solar is very much lucrative than hydro because the climate conditions in India and everything meets all the they are perfect for generating solar power. Not even if not at a very large scale, then people are having solar panels at their rooftops also. So batteries can be charged anywhere. It just needs a good photovoltaic cell and all the setup that is required for that. So solar is the most lucrative one.
Thanks, Priya. But the reason why I asked you this question is simply this. Are you aware what green mobility is all about? We are a wholly owned subsidiary of a renewable energy giant. So basically, the reason why I asked this question is that if you had looked at that, you could also thought about how you can utilize that. And that could have also cut your cost to some extent.
Yes, so sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yeah, no.
So we have actually mentioned in the presentation that we will use the renewable energy that we generate, we will use our core competency for running our plant operations as well. And we will use that captive energy to charge batteries to provide to charge vehicles as well.
No problem. Maybe I missed out. Sorry about that.
No, sir.
Okay, otherwise, great presentation. Very well done. Okay. Wish you guys all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You can sign off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Life is like cricket. When you get thrown a googly, how you bat is the difference between hitting a six and getting out. A simple example of a googly in life is your laptop crashing while you're working on an important business presentation. If you're smart and prepared, you should have your files backed up on the cloud and should recover from this loss quickly. If you are not prepared, you will have lost years of work. A complicated googly is the 2020 pandemic that shut the world down and disrupted businesses and economies globally. If you already had an online business module or quickly added one, you continued to work like normal. If you didn't, you probably struggled. As organizations, as employees, we try to plan for unexpected situations that could disrupt work. But as an individual, are you prepared to handle googlies like a medical emergency, a natural disaster, a recession, or another pandemic without draining your savings and generating a mountain of debt? If your answer is no, then it is time to set up a contingency fund that can handle life's googlies. What is a contingency fund? Like the name suggests, it is a fund that may help you survive in an emergency. A contingency fund may give you breathing room if your salary isn't paid or if you lose your job. You may not be stumped on how to pay your child's school fees, utility bill and EMI, or worse, if you can put food on the table. How does a contingency fund help in these situations? Well, a good contingency fund is seeded with 6 to 9 months' salary. Do not panic. Yes, that's a lot of money. But you don't need to have it today. You will accumulate it slowly over time. All you have to do is stay committed and only use the fund for true emergencies. This means no spending it to upgrade your phone when it still works or using it to fund that spontaneous friend's trip. How to create a contingency fund? Think of a contingency fund as a systematic investment for unexpected situations. Step 1. Set up a contingency fund account. It can be a savings account, a liquid fund account, or any other type. Just make sure it is relatively safe, easy to access, and separate from your regular savings account. After all, you don't want to spend it accidentally. Step 2. Set achievable targets. When you are playing a match, you don't reach 400 runs on the first ball or even the first over. You keep your team motivated by setting smaller targets that will help you achieve the desired outcome. Similarly, set yourself smaller targets. Once you reach it, raise the bar higher until you have collected at least 6 months' salary. Step 3. Make your contingency fund a part of your financial plan. Analyze your existing income and expenses and find areas which can be tightened to give you a winning outcome. This should ensure you aren't struggling or forgetting to meet your targets every month. Step 4. Set up an automatic systematic contingency fund process. Start an auto debit to transfer your budgeted amount into your contingency fund account. Remember to increase the amount as your salary and expenses grow. Step 5. Replenish your systematic contingency fund. Every time you dip into your contingency fund, make sure you replenish it. This will ensure you are financially prepared to take on the next emergency, if any. Follow these steps with an aim to build a fund that could sustain your quality of life during an emergency. Start today and aim to be prepared to manage any googly that life may bring. An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
In this case, we are playing the role of a consulting firm, and we have been approached by Green Mobility India, which is planning on entering the EV market in India, and its parent company is a renewable energy giant, and it is contemplating of entering India's EV market. So they want us to explore the various challenges regarding the limited charging infrastructure or the high EV cost and the government subsidies or the government policies, and whether it is feasible to enter the market given the current market scenario. Also, there's a concern of China's uh, like, dominating this battery and EV industry. So, how will it influence our the green mobility's prospects of entering the EV market? So, as we have been given in this case, during the current market scenario, the total EV market is for 1.4 million. Out of that, we are targeting the passenger EVs. So that is roughly around 55,000, 40,000 at the end of 2022, and it is projected to increase up to 55,000 in 23. Yeah. So uh, af- apart from that, we'll also be examining the consumer preference, the environmental impact, and uh, and then we can make a decision as to whether green mobility should enter the market or not. Can you move to the next one, Swapnil? Yeah. Yes. So these are the main five problems that we'll be addressing. Which is the dynamics of the EV market, then the environmental impact, the consumer preferences, with respect to the cost of ownership and like the cost of purchase, and uh, all those parameters. And after that, we'll see how the charging infrastructure will be affecting this. And like based on this, we'll be providing a business plan for the company. Next slide, Somna. Yeah, so as we can see from this data, that Indian EV market is going to increase at a CAGR of almost 94.4%. But as per the data given in the case and the calculations that we have made right from this current year, 2023, up to 2030, the market will grow by a CAGR of say 71.5%. And we have plotted the facts and figures in the chart shown on this slide. Also, we can see that there's a great scope for increase in the overall EV market, and and subsequently the passenger EV market. So this condition in general is favorable for a market entry into the EV space. Next slide. Herein we have analyzed the three options that we have, whether to go ahead with fully like full EV, that is BEV cars, or hybrid cars, or the right now that we are like experiencing the IC engine cars. So we have evaluated these on various criteria like the purchase cost, the total cost which contains the fuel, charge, maintenance, and etc. The range that which is like relevant in terms of EV or hybrids, if like what distance the car can travel in on a single charge when the battery is fully charged. Apart from that, we have uh, explored the aspect of emissions and government schemes. In each of these parameters, we have tick marked the like the type of vehicles that is like coming up in front as compared to the other two. And then we have given weightages to each of these parameters, and then we have calculated the favorable score as to which mode of vehicle, with which mode of vehicle can green mobility go ahead. Next slide. Yeah. Sorry, as also there was the thing we saw that the hybrid was the most favored like the mode of vehicles that with which green mobility can enter the market. We can now see the environmental impact. It will be explained by Pranav.
So in this slide, we are going to see the environmental impact environmental impact comparison between the EV's vehicle versus the IC's vehicle, internal combustion engine vehicles and hybrid vehicles. So in this, for the environmental emission comparison, we did the cradle to grave comparison. In this comparison, at the manufacturing phase, the EVs will provide much more emission which compare environmental emission with compared to the ICs and hybrids because of the making of the batteries in the manufacturing phase. So in the operational phase, because of the zero tailpipe emission, there is no emission in the EVs, and there will be very high emission in the ICs and hybrids. At the end of the cycle, which is the disposable phase, because of the growing concerns about battery disposables, the EVs will be disposing at a certain amount of environmental emission in the EV sections, and in the ICs and hybrid section, the disposable challenge are due to hazardous materials, and there are the very limitations to the recycling. So there will be there will be some amount of environmental emission in the overall assessment, because the right now we are for the making of the EVs battery, we are getting the minerals like nickel, cobalt and lithium from our general mining. So because of that, the overall emission assessment for the EVs will be moderate, means low to moderate, and in the ICs, the hybrids, because of the there will be much more emissions during the operations, which will be the longest period. There will be so much emission during in ICs and hybrids. And in this chart, the UV's impact on environment. In this, we means for the making of the batteries, we use because of the for making of batteries, we are using the right now we are using the coal burning to make the batteries. But in the future, we will be moving towards the renewable energy for producing the batteries. That's why in the future, the environmental emissions in the manufacturing phase of the EVs will be very much less. Right now the emission of the EVs at the manufacturing phase will be like 145.2 gram of CO2 per kilometer the EV will be traveling. So Swapnil, next slide. So Swapnil, are you willing to continue? Hello, Swapnil?
Yeah. So am I audible now?
Yeah.
So coming to the part of which kind of charger or EV station to install or set up. So as Vismay mentioned, as well as Pranav mentioned, we did some kind of qualitative analysis regarding why one should go to the EV, as well as we try to find out the consumer preferences, why consumers are going towards EV instead of going to fuel in more and more. Also, we see that the government schemes are working in such a way that they are working for less emission, and they are also promoting EV or those vehicles which are not based on fossil fuel. So but is India's infrastructure will support this EV structure or not? That we have to find. So as per data given in case, currently we have only 9,000 stations, and we need to install more and more charging stations to complete the need of what India is expecting growth in EV sector. For that, as per case, we have different types of chargers, EV chargers, which are given there, and we have to work in such a way that which will be like long term for company's perspective, as well as it will help company to earn revenue out of it. So here we have two types of chargers, L1 and L3. L4 is not yet available in our country. So and L3 is like taking less time to charge batteries. L1 are like taking more time to charge batteries, and people will definitely asking for fast charging, so that they will use their vehicle for more time instead of putting it for charging longer time. So we should try to focus on L3 type of chargers. Within L3 type of chargers, we can see that the charger which is Bharat DC 001, then CCS 30K watt, then CCS 60K watt. these are some of the most available or most useful here. And if we see the cost for setup of Bharat, then it is lesser than other one. And as per
10 minutes
mentioned data,
over.
sorry.
10 minutes over.
Okay. Yeah. So we should go with Bharat DC. As you can see in the graph, how EV charging margins will grow. We projected this data for next 5 years, and what we found is that our best option will be going with Bharat DC, and then our second best option will be with CCS 30K watt. So as per this data, we will say that we should opt the infrastructure of Bharat DC, and we will get this type of revenue out of it. Then coming to the next slide. Yeah. So coming as now we are decided with we should go with some EV type of vehicle with also increasing our charging infrastructure, because day by day charging infrastructure will need in India, because people are asking for EV, and we need more and more infrastructure for that. So even if we are going with EV or not, but we should invest ourselves in charging, because that is the need of country. Now coming to the part of which kind of vehicle we should start, that is hybrid or EV. In hybrid also we have five types, and why what we found is that why companies are not promoting hybrid, and they are directly either providing EV or fuel. And very less number of companies are providing hybrid kind of structure, because if we see the tax structure in government, then we can see that the hybrid are for hybrid we require same cost structure as that of fuel like vehicle, and for EV we have only 5% of taxes on it. Also EV government is providing subsidies and all, so more and more companies are promoting EV. But if we see the need of Indian people, and if we see the ground truth of infrastructure, then we should think about hybrid also, because if current EV structure is not so established, so we should go with EV hybrid, and then as our infrastructure goes, we will definitely move towards EV. So if we see using this business plan and growth which is given in case, we can see that how the number of demand for vehicles is increasing, which is 55,000 in first year, then in second year it will be something 94,000, and then after it will be 1,61,000, then 2,77,000 and 4,76,000, out of which we can target currently 10% of market in first year. Then second year we will try to acquire 15% of market, then we will move for again 15%, then 20%, and 20% we will stagnate, and then if we need more or we expect more, then we will again invest and increase our market share. That is our assumptions in this case. Then as per that we found out some data regarding the investment in plant. Then also, as I mentioned earlier, irrespective of whether we are manufacturing hybrid or EV, we are also expecting that our charging station market is growing, so we are definitely investing in that. So we also plotted some of the data regarding how these charging stations will infrastructure we will invest in this infrastructure, and what kind of revenue we will earn from it. So that is the next slide I will like to share. So yeah, so here total investment from our side will be in terms of investment for vehicles and investment for charging things. Then we have to work on promotion, as mentioned in case we in earlier days or in first year, as we are not in market, so we have to invest more in promotion than other companies. So if we see, and our target is, as I mentioned earlier, 10%, and overall market promotion size is around 3,000 CR. So we will try to invest around 900 crores in that, so that we will have some kind of acquisition of market in early phases, and then after, if we become a regular part of this industry, then we have to invest less in promotion. Then after, as I mentioned earlier, based on the projected demand and what we are expecting we are going to acquire, we can find out the revenue which we can earn from the vehicle sale. Then again, as provided data in case regarding charging, we can also find out how revenues will grow for charging stations. So total revenue we will get from it. Also, we will get total expenses out of it, and we can find out that after fourth to fifth year we will get to break even, because in earlier days we will have negative cash flows, and then after we will move towards break even and positive cash flow. So this will be overall graph for this break even analysis. In after 4 to 5 years we will reach break even. So as per our recommendation, as per
15
our
minutes
analysis,
over.
we would, sorry,
15 minutes over.
okay. Mm,
Just
so
wrap up your presentation. Go ahead.
Okay, so as per our analysis, we would like to say that as per thinking about the infrastructure and what we market demand is there, we would definitely love to, or we should enter into EV market. But in early stage, our share should be more for hybrid, and then we will increase share in purely EV. And as per that, we provided this means this analysis tells us we should move to EV with hybrid and EV both. Thank you.
Pranav, Vismay, and Swapnil, I would say excellent presentation because you know you were very focused on what the numbers needed to do. You didn't put some global numbers on EV market globally, this, that, all kinds of things. You understood each of the factors that is going to work. And you've taken wherever the data was given in the case, you've not tried to change that, you've been with that, and it's been. So I really feel you're doing an excellent job. And initially I thought there were some gaps, but you came back and clearly mentioned that you'll start with hybrid, then go to EV, which is definitely in my view the right strategy to do, because infrastructure will take a lot of time to build. We will also get to know what is the consumer preference. We'll also get to know what would be happen to the government subsidies. Will they continue with such high subsidies? Today the subsidies are very low. What happens when the numbers become large? Will the government be able to afford such subsidies? And what is happening? How fast will we move to renewable energy? Otherwise, it's also not a green vehicle, because we are burning fuel. So great. I think it's been fantastic. I don't want to take too much time, because I'm literally not able to find anything else that I would have looked for in your presentation. It's been wonderful. I just loved your presentation, and this is exactly what the board wanted. Are you confident? What are you talking about? When will I get the break even? Is this the vehicle? What should we go with? And that's been perfect, to the point.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely great.
Thank you, sir.
Amir, right?
Yeah, yes. So I would echo with the earlier jury, the presentation was very crisp, sharp, and very focused. So as the earlier jury also said, that you have not gone haywire. It was very, consolidated form of presentation. Whatever has been given to you, you have understood it properly and then tried to deliver it accordingly. And that is my observation also. Initially, I was thinking whether you will be only focused to the EV part also, or you will be focusing on hybrid also. At the end, I would gather from your information that you will be focusing hybrid also, and that too, including once the hybrid has taken a speed and the EV started catching up, you will probably shift from hybrid to EV as well. The only one question which I am little, trying to understand still, because you have said there is not that much of cost differential between hybrid and EV, whereas, without concession, it will be huge differences. So if at all there is, exit of all those subsidy and the exemption that is getting from the government, so the cost of EV would be very, very high. So how will you settle to those, situation when there is a, less concession on the EV part, and the volume will be more and the cost impact will be very high? So how is that going to be settled? Can you just answer that question? So I'm
Okay.
saying,
So,
have you understood the question?
I would like, yeah, yes.
Yes, yes.
So basically, currently we are saying that definitely in future also EV will be more costlier than hybrid. But what we are expecting is that we are not seeing the cost structure for only while buying the things. If we consider it over the period of time, let's say 8 to 10 years, then we can see that there is no much gap between EV and hybrid, because for then after, as mentioned in case, hybrid requires more and more maintenance, as well as it will consume fossil fuel also for up to some extent. But in terms of EV, it will be like very less maintenance, as well as very less again means recurring cost for it. So if we compare those things for long term, then it will be like equal thing. But definitely in early stages, as people are not think till the end of 8 years or 7 years. So in early stages, there will be kind of inertia to buy this kind of invest in this kind of things. But what we are expecting is that if we people get used to means try used hybrid one, then they will be reliable on electrical thing, and then they will move towards that thing.
Okay, so you are saying that over a period of time, the cost of EV will come down and hopefully the adoption will increase, and that is where you will settle to an EV shifting from hybrid model.
Yeah.
So the another question is that, currently when we have seen that while the market share earlier was 6%, and when the volume has increased, the market share of passenger car has come down to 4%. So how do you expect the percentage of, EV vehicles in the passenger segment will increase?
Okay. So, Vismay, would you like to answer this?
So I'm saying over a period of time, you must have seen the case study
Yeah.
where the passenger car sales segment was somewhere around 4%, and when the volume has gone 6%, when the volume has gone it has come down to 4%. Agree? Agree or
Yes.
not? So I am saying even if the volume has increased, the percentage passenger car sales will be less. And hence your projection might go haywire. So how will you, and what extra you will do so far as the promotion is concerned, so far as the infrastructure built up is concerned, what best you can do to have your sales, intact, even if the overall market share comes down?
Okay. So as Swapnil mentioned towards the end, that the overall all the players are spending around 3,000 crores for marketing, and as a new entrant, we are aiming for a 10% market share initially. So we are planning on spending three times the expected amount, that is 300 crores. So we will be spending 900 crores towards the start. But as we reach stagnation, we'll have to as the players, like the first, second, third major players will get decided in the industry, we'll have to come up with some differentiating factors, and also market it accordingly and put in the budget for creating awareness about that particular segment. Right now, the EV, the segment itself is new, but as we go on further into the future, we'll have to come up with new, say increasing, companies right now are working on increasing the range of on a single charge, and later on we can come up with some similar differentiating factors, and then maybe we'll be able to surpass that threshold of say 20% market share, and then we can become the second or third major player in the market.
That was what I was just checking. What innovating factors that is coming in play, which will help you to have your market share intact. So thank you very much. Over to you, to the next jury and whosoever is there.
Yeah, Lokeshwari.
Lokeshwari.
It is Loki.
Yeah, very good presentation. I think you people read through the case very well and understood the concerns that were actually mentioned there in terms of the current environment and the non-availability of charging stations and all that. So the solution was presented based on what the concerns and the constraining factors are presented there. So very well done. I really like the way that in the initial years, the mix was more towards hybrid and less towards EV. And then as the years progressed, I think you increased the EVs and then reduced the hybrids. So gradually you are increased the mix itself changed. I like the way you had kind of modeled in that way. That was really well done. My concern is mainly with the initial assumptions, the sales, the revenue projection itself that you are doing, as Amir also said, in initial, because the overall passenger car market itself is not growing very fast. It's growing at about 7%. So you are talking about a CAGR of what? You said 71% initially?
Yeah, for
CAGR
the
or totally from 4 5 years?
no, ma'am, just a minute.
Annual growth of what are you projecting? Annual growth in revenues?
So the sales,
Sales, yeah.
yeah, we were talking about the sales. As per the case that for the passenger EV segment, we are expecting the market to reach up to 1.4 million, that is 14 lakhs. Yeah, 14 lakhs. So right now there are just 55,000, like at the end of 2024, there are just 55,000 vehicles in terms of sales, passenger EVs, I'm saying. So to reach that mark, the 14 lakh mark, we'll have the market should grow by a CAGR of 71.55% for the passenger EV segment. Whereas the overall EV growth, sorry, the passenger vehicles growth is having a CAGR of 9%. And this we are stating strictly sticking to the case facts.
So you're saying the EV segment will grow at what rate annually?
Passenger EV will grow at 71.5.
Every year?
Yes, ma'am. It has to reach that the target of 14 lakh. Because
Exactly.
right,
So the target that the government gives is really, they give very over optimistic targets. So that's what the basic number itself I'm little not too happy with. But yeah, that's what the government has given. We don't really have to go by that because given that the purchase cost of EV is going to be so much more expensive, the initial cost. So do you think consumers are going to go over from, the ICE vehicle to go to that? Because cost is, of course, very important for Indian consumer, right?
yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Mhm.
Yeah, Pranav. Yeah.
So yeah, it's the
So as
initial part of, yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, so as the initial part, the consumers will be hesitant to buy the EV vehicles, but as we see in the long term, means as Swapnil said, the consumers will continuously adapt to the prices of the EV vehicles. But at still the consumers will not satisfy the prices of the EV vehicles. We can at some point we can lower the prices of the EV vehicles, but at the same time, at looking at the sales and revenue part of the vehicles, we are not getting revenue from only the selling of the EV vehicles. We are getting revenue from also of the charging stations we are planting all over India. Means like we are getting like 11 lakh 88,000 sales from each charging station we are planting right now.
So what is
So
your
at
revenue breakup between charging station and the EV sales? What's the
so
percentage?
so actually because of the maintenance charges and all the things are not given in the case, so we are just did the means manufacturing means setup cost of the means AV vehicle charging station, which will be like 8 lakh means 2 lakh 50,000 or something. And after that, we are getting like 11 lakh 88,000 per year at per EV station. So because of that, the revenue from the sales of EV vehicles as well as the revenue getting from the EV vehicle charging stations. So we can at some point, if consumers will not getting the means not will feel satisfied with the means prices of the EV vehicles, we can somewhat lower the prices and still we can gain the same amount of sales and revenues with from the selling of the EV vehicles as well as the sales for revenue from the electric vehicle stations.
Okay. Problem very well, and I liked your
Well, guys, I mean, finally, the organization has got a solution from you guys for all the presentations. I have no questions, nothing. It's a good job. You've done a great job. Keep it up. Wish you guys all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Benefits of SIP, STP, SWP. Win with SIP. This is Sid. He recently started working and wishes to invest his money in the stock markets. But his salary isn't much and he has only a small sum of money left to invest every month. While he was contemplating on what he could do, his elder sister Reena came to his rescue. An avid investor herself, Reena introduced him to the magic trio of SIP, STP, SWP.
Don't worry, you don't really need a large amount to start investing. You can invest as little as 500 rupees weekly, monthly or quarterly using SIP, that is Systematic Investment Plan in mutual funds. And before you wonder how it could help, let me tell you, a SIP has many advantages. 1. It lets you start small. And when you invest every month, you average your purchasing cost. So, you needn't worry about timing the market. For example, let's assume you invest 500 rupees every month. Given the market volatility, the cost of purchasing a unit of a mutual fund will change every month. Say, in the first month, you may get 40 units for 500 rupees. In the second month, you may also get 25 units for the same amount and perhaps more in the next month, say 45 units. This difference in price averages out over time, giving you the best possible price per unit over time. 2. You not only make your money work, you also make time work in your favor by starting to invest sooner than later. 3. You also benefit from the power of compounding by reinvesting the profits earned from your investments in mutual funds. Let me explain. Suppose you invest 500 rupees per month for a year. In 12 months, you will have invested 6,000 rupees. Let's assume your money grows at 8% during the year. So, your investments will be worth 6,480 rupees at the end of year 1. Now, if you leave the entire amount invested in the fund and continue with your SIP, by the end of the second year, your investment would be 12,480 rupees. That is 6,480 rupees plus 6,000 rupees. But given the 8% returns, you would have earned a profit of 998.4 rupees. And this amount will continue to compound as long as you stay invested.
This is quite enlightening. But sis, I have a doubt. When I get a bonus at the end of the year, how do I invest it? I don't want to take the risk of timing the market.
I'm glad you are catching on, Sid. You just need to be smart with your investments. You can park your bonus in a low-risk debt or liquid fund initially, and then set up a STP, that is a systematic transfer plan, which will transfer fixed amounts from this scheme to other debt and equity schemes regularly and give you all the advantages of a SIP. So you don't have to worry about timing the market. And while the SIPs happen, your money isn't lying idle in your bank. It is earning interest in debt or liquid fund. And just like a SIP, STP allows you to set the duration of your investment period. For example, if you get a 50,000 bonus, you can choose to invest 5,000 in a single scheme or 1,000 in 5 different schemes over the next 10 months. You can make this choice based on what goal you wish to achieve.
You have a solution for everything. I have one more question though. I can keep my investments going every month, but how can I withdraw, say after 10 years, without the hassle of timing the markets?
Well, Sid, this one is easy too. Let's assume you are investing for your retirement funds. Once you retire, you can turn your SIP into a SWP, that is, a systematic withdrawal plan, and get a fixed income at regular intervals. So if you need 25,000 rupees per month to meet your expenses, you can set up the SWP to deposit 25,000 rupees into your bank account every month or 75,000 rupees every quarter. SWP gives you the flexibility to choose. A SWP not only aims to give you protection against market volatility, it keeps your money working for you. So, you see, when you SIP, STP or SWP, you aim to win on multiple levels, today as well as tomorrow.
An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
So let me first thank all of you for all the participants for the great presentation and for their great preparation as well. So all the team did great. The presentation were very concise, precise, very relevant. I mean, it is within the purview of what has been asked. But still, there will always be the age to somebody who has done a better preparation, and it always happen with any competition. So whosoever will have the edge has gone for better scoring. So based on the jury scores, there's a very minute difference, and the difference will lead to the higher difference will lead to the winner. And today's winner for both the team is the IIM Indore team, who has performed little better over the another team. As I said, both the team has done great, but there is always an element of edge, and the edge will lead to the higher scoring, and that is how the winners are declared. And today the winner is IIM Indore. So thank you very much. I would also, thank every participant and all the jury member.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman.
We now have a special education AV from Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Nivesh Fables presents Choose Your Advisor Wisely.
There were two rabbits. Willy was the wise one and Fred was not so wise. They were walking through a field and came upon two carrots. Fred excitedly rushed and picked up a carrot, but it was smaller than it looked. He was confused, so Willy said, "Judging a carrot by its leaves is not the right way." After walking for some time, they came across another set of carrots. This time, Willy chose the carrot first. Fred thought, "How come the carrot with smaller leaves is small?" Willy replied, "I do not judge a carrot by its leaves." For the third time, they found two carrots again. Willy pulled out one carrot and offered it to his friend. Fred was still confused and said, "I don't know how you do it, but I guess you're just smarter than me." "Fred, I may have the wisdom, but I share it with others and help them benefit from it too. You're my friend, you trust me, and I want you to have this carrot." In real life, while making investment decisions, don't we all look for an advisor like Willy, who wouldn't just look at the leaves superfluously, but analyze, inspect, understand the investments thoroughly, and suggest the right one for us? Someone who we can trust our hard-earned money with. As they say, if you look for a financial advisor, look for someone with the heart of a teacher and the soul of a friend. Have you found yours? An investor education and awareness initiative of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Thank you for watching. This is Businessline Boardroom Challenge 2023.